It has been a while since I've done any sausage on my channel. It's been about 3 years. I have done boudin since then, but I'm referring to other types of sausages. And I'm getting into it this winter. This is just one of other videos to come. Today I'm doing a German Bratwurst, and I'm doing it all homemade, but I do need to back you up to about 48 hours ago and explain to you what I got done up to this point. Now, I took 5 pounds of pork shoulder or pork butt, and in grams that would be 2,268 grams. And the reason I'm telling you the grams, everything in this recipe is broke down to grams, and the reason being, before I'm asked, it's way more accurate. So 48 hours ago, I took this pork butt and I cubed it up into cubes that will fit into the throat of my grinder. So after cubing up the meat, I took and weighed out the salt. I went for 1.8% salt. Some people go a little lower, some people go higher. But safely, you know, 1.6 to no more than 2.5. 2.5 to me is getting a little on the salty side. So 1.8 I did. And another ingredient that I did put in this, and you don't have to, it's completely optional because this is a fresh sausage. It's not going into a smoker. It's never going to be in an environment that could grow botulism. But the main reason I did it, not because I needed it cured, but it will preserve some really nice color as far as that pink color. It will elevate the flavor, but the biggest reason, it's more of a preservative as well, which means I can put it in my refrigerator for up to a month and not have to worry about bacteria getting into it. If I was doing this without that, I would have to pack it up, vacuum seal it, pop it in the freezer. And the amount that I'm making today, this stuff will be gone in 2 weeks easily, if not sooner. So I took the salt and I combined the sodium nitrite into that. Then I covered the meat with it. I tossed it in really well, making sure to cover all of it. And then I packed that in level. I took some plastic wrap, pushed over the top of it to cover the meat, popped it in the refrigerator. It's been in there for 48 hours. So the meat that was in the refrigerator is now in the freezer getting really cold. You want to get that down to about 32, no higher than 34 degrees. It really needs to be cold for the best grind, and that's what we're getting ready to do. I've got my grinder in here and we're getting ready to grind some meat, and I'll take you step by step how to make this sausage. Here is the meat here, and as you can tell, it's got a lot darker color. That's from the salt as well as the cure. Now once we cut into this, it's going to turn more of a pink. Now I like to check and make sure we're at 30 degrees right there. Get us a pan under here, turn our grinder on. Now I'm starting this with a 1/4 inch plate. I will be grinding this twice. We're getting here close to the end. What you can do to push the rest of that out, go ahead and add some more of that ground in there. Some people say do bread, some people say put ice. I'm not running ice through my blades. I'm just not going to do it. All you got to do is just take the pre-ground and run it through again. Now all of it's ground, and we can dig out what's left inside there. All right, that's about as far as we're going. So I'm going to transfer this back into the smaller pan and back into the freezer. Just pulled this back out of the freezer. 33, 32 degrees, we're good. So I'm going to go ahead and run this through one more time. By the way, this is a 4.5 millimeter plate on this. More of a hamburger grind. Going to take this, put it back in the small pan, put it back in the freezer for a good 30 minutes, and after that we're going to mix this all up and get ready to case them. All right, we have cooled this back down for the last time. Now it's time to stuff. I'm just going to get this meat over into this mixing bowl for my mixer. Let's get our paddle attachment on here. I've got 2 eggs. It's roughly 1 egg per kilogram. Now this is our spice mix. This is everything I put in this spice mix going in. Get every drop of that. Now as far as the liquid goes, in Germany they use cream. I'm not going with all of it. I do have 10% inside of here. I'm gonna start with that to see what I'll look like. Now I was gonna add beer into this as a liquid, a little bit of cream, a little bit of beer, but the more I thought about it, you know, I said, you know what, that's kind of acidic. So I actually did a pH test on it. Sure enough, it's like 4.3, pretty low pH. And it probably wouldn't hurt with the small amount of beer I was going to use, but I'm not going to do anything to mess up this texture. I want a good bind, and anything acidic can mess with the protein. It will denature the protein to where you lose that good bind. So I didn't want to go there. So we got everything in. Let's close this up. Been going a few minutes. Let's reach in here and let's do this test to see how much protein extraction. And yeah, that's super sticky. Gonna lay our stuff right here to the side, and you just want to take the meat and start packing it in there. And make sure you pack it inside the actual cylinder as you go to get all the air out of it. I just want to turn this until I get it out the end, and I'm already there. Back off. And we can put our casing on. These casings last night, I flushed them out. The amount I thought I would need, I got 2 long casings. I might not need all of them. But I flushed the insides out under the faucet, and then I rinsed them really thoroughly to get all the salt off the inside. I put them in some fresh water along with about 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. That is a little tip that I learned from Eric over at 2 Guys in a Cooler. It really helps prevent blowouts. It makes your casing, I don't want to say slimy, but it really lubricates it. We're going to take some water, wet our horn. Something I always do is I go ahead and get a little bit more water in this casing. Now I'm going to put like a final flush on it. Not that it needs it, but so you know, these casings are really good casings, and they did come from PS Seasoning. I'll have a link in the description if you would like to try their casings. I've had no problems, even their sheep casings, none whatsoever. All right, so I've made me a mark here. It's 7 inches from the end. It doesn't have to be exact. I'm gonna take and push in right here, right at the 7 inches. And I'm gonna go ahead and get this one started. 3 or 4 twists. What I normally do is I skip the next one. Push in here, skip that one, then I go here. Now I do the same thing. Doesn't matter which way you turn it because we're skipping one. To me, this is just way faster. You can see how plump that sausage is getting now. You see that? You see how that filled that little low spot in? That's the reason you don't want to overfill it. Also, make sure to use your sausage pricker and remove any visible air pockets. Just remove the sausage. It's been drying overnight, and as you can see, it's got a nice dry texture. The twist that we made casing these together, they should stay intact. So I'm gonna go ahead and clip out 3 of these just for purposes of this video, and the rest I will go ahead and vacuum pack and put back in the refrigerator, and they should be gone, like I said, within a week or 2. There is primarily 2 ways to cook bratwurst, one of them being just on the grill. Another popular way to cook these is actually by poaching in beer, and I'll be doing that as well. I'll poach them to fully cook them, then from there they'll go out to the grill just to get color on them and to help crisp up that skin somewhat. These are the 2 poached. This is the one I grilled, and as you can see, it shriveled up more. I had better results by poaching first and then grilling, and I know this is going to have more flavor. I just tried this and I was really blown away with the flavor of this. This is just screaming authentic German sausage. And so you know, there's probably over 40 different bratwurst recipes in Germany, depending on which part of the region you come from. And I played around with some seasonings, and I think I got a winner here. I wrote this recipe myself. I'm not copying anybody's recipe, and I was really happy with the results of this right here. And you can see the pink color that it maintained. That's the reason I used the sodium nitrite. If I had not, that would be more white or grayish looking, which is fine. But the biggest reason I did that is so this will last longer in the refrigerator. All right, let me show you what I'm gonna do with this one. I've got an artisan roll here. This is made for bratwurst. Something I love is this German mustard. I keep that. I had to order it from Amazon because I can't buy it locally in my store. I just want to taste the mustard, so I'm not going to go crazy with that. We're going to add a bratwurst into here. I'm going to top it with some of these onions, just a few of these onions. So one thing I have been using for years, since 2015, is salsa. It is a great condiment for this kind of sausage. They have this an original, this is spicy, they have a garlic, and they also have a hot. I've never tried the hot, but man, that's next on my list. I already know what the bratwurst tastes like without anything added. But we're going to add this sauce in here. We're not going to go crazy, even though I absolutely love this stuff. I am very guilty of just grabbing a jar of this and eating it right out of the jar. And I have actually polished off the original that I had. It's gone. All right, cheers everybody. Oh, that has a beautiful flavor. That just screams Germany. I mean, absolutely does. My wife is going to love this. Has a nice crisp on the casing. It's fantastic. I hope y'all got something out of this video. I hope you try this if you're into sausage making. If you're not into sausage making, I'm hoping this kind of video, and I've got others coming, will encourage you to get into it. You do have to have a little equipment up front, and outside of that, there's so many great recipes that's already been written for you. There's sausage kits you can get, and it's just, yeah, you can buy sausage at the store, but you're not going to buy this sausage at the store. I guarantee you that. There's not an American bratwurst that I've ever tasted that resembles these authentic German flavors. Fantastic. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I'm Russ Jones with Smoky Ribs Barbecue.